Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Sheen, your host. This is Money Matters. In this channel, we talk about money, finance, how to grow your money, how to invest your money, how to make money work hard for you. Check out my other videos. If you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing. Give a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Helps me spread my channel, my videos to other people. YouTube algorithm pushes my video, the more thumbs up it gets. All right, let's get started. So today I'm going to talk about basically what I predict is going to happen in the next few months. The stock market crash, our double dip recession. Just last month in March, we had a huge crash in the stock market. The Dow fell roughly 30 some percent, and since then has recovered. Amazingly enough, is recovered to, I think we're only down roughly 12 to 15% now on the year. And so that is absolutely incredible. I mean, we had basically the whole world shut down, uh, all major economies shut down, your local stores, schools, everything shut down, and you're telling me that the stock market is only down, 12 to 15%. That makes no sense. Considering back in 2008, 2009, when there was just a financial crisis, and it was basically limited to United States and Europe. The stock market crashed 50% from peak to trough, and it took roughly 18 months for that crash to happen. And now we're only down 15%. that just doesn't add up, right? So I do predict that in the next few months, we're going to see some numbers decline. We're going to see, unemployment numbers are skyrocketing. GDP is going down. The U.S. debt is going up. Companies are closing. Small businesses are closing. Some of them are not going to recover. And if they do recover, they're not going to be bringing back all their employees. That's just not going to happen. They're not going to be doing the same revenue that they did before. And so you're going to see from the small business to the large corporations, they're going to be, projecting numbers and showing numbers for the Q1, their Q2, and even their Q3 are going to be a lot worse than I think everyone thinks. And so compiled on top of this is the oil crash. Oil futures just a few days ago was down into the negatives. Never happened in history, basically trading in the negatives. It has come back up. Today, I think it was trading for roughly $13, $14. And that is still unbelievably low. Just a couple of months ago, it was trading in the 60s. And so definitely the oil market is in shambles. There's just too much of this stuff. The Saudis are pumping out oil. The Russians were pumping out oil, and the U.S. was pumping out oil. Nobody wanted to stop. So now, airlines are not flying. People are not taking vacations. They're not driving as much. It's no longer winter, so you're not using as much fuel. So there's just way too much of this stuff, and supply and demand says there's too much, and now it's essentially almost worthless. So we're going to talk about this kind of domino effect. So first of all, roughly 22 million people have lost their jobs over the past month. Unemployment is likely nearing 18%. Morgan Stanley forecasts roughly 38% drop in second quarter US GDP. So I'm going to talk about, like I said, this domino effect. And I'm kind of going to go over pretty much every domino, the way I see it, the way I picture it happening in the next few months. The first is this virus guy. He started the whole thing. He pushed over the first domino. And so in March, we had the big stock market crash. Like I said, it crashed to roughly 30, I think it was 35%. So now we have the oil crash, oil dropping to the negatives just a few days ago. And so what happens when oil crashes? So there's too much oil. A lot of these oil companies are going to go out of business. They were running on very bad balance sheets to begin with, a lot of the U.S. oil companies. So a lot of them are going to go out of business. And when they go out of business, they have a lot of debt. And who holds their debt? It's the big banks. All the banks hold the debt, all the debt of all these oil companies. And when they go bankrupt, basically the big banks eat it. They're not going to able to collect the cash, collect the debt on that. So they're going to tighten up. They're not going to be able to loan as much. They're going to be a lot more strict about who they give their money to. And so that's going to start this vicious cycle. And so if you are maybe unemployed and you need some money, you're going to try to get some loans to pay for your house, pay for your car, pay for something. It's going to be a lot harder to get these loans, even though the government is kind of like pushing money and lowering interest rates to get these big banks to give out loans to anybody who wants them. if they already took a huge debt load from the big oil companies and losing all that money, they're going to be a lot more restrictive about who they give their money to. So not everyone that's unemployed and needs to get money, not every small business that needs to get money is going to get money. They're going to be really strict about who they lend their money to. And again, that begins the cycle because they aren't able to lend out money. And so more companies, more small businesses go bankrupt, more people can't get money, more people are unemployed. They can't get their money and they can't pay their bills, and they can't pay their bills. They can't pay for their car. They can't pay for their mortgage. And then this whole domino effect happens. People default on their car loans. The banks hold these car loans, so that's even more debt that they're not going to get. Mortgages start not being paid, and so the big banks are more strict and they lend out less money, and then more people can't get money, and so this whole cycle just kind of reverberates through the economy until the government is able to get a hold of things, until these unemployment numbers go back up, kind of where we get out of this whole cycle. And actually, it took in 2007 to 2008, the whole financial crisis, it took 18 months for that stock market to crash, and it took until roughly 2011 for things to start to get back to normal. So it was at least 2 to 3 years after the stock market hit rock bottom before everything was kind of going back to normal. People were starting to get money that they needed to get money, loans and mortgages and auto loans. That didn't really happen until 3 years after the market crash. So that's why I predict that this crash is going to be a lot worse than what it was in 2008. So let's look at the Dow Jones as of this recording. It's at 23,500, which is only down roughly 12 or 11.49% for a 12-month period. Year to date is down actually 17%. So again, compare this to 2007, 2009. In 2007, the stock market hit rock bottom. The stock market was at the high point in roughly October of 2007. It was at 14,164, and it just started crashing, and it took roughly 18 months. The bottom did not happen until March of 2009, where it hit 6,469, representing a 54% drop. So again, guys, I think that's what's going to happen. Again, when Q1 and Q2 numbers come out, when people start trying to go back to work and they find out they're not able to because work is not there anymore, or the boss doesn't need that many people anymore. So a lot of people are going to unfortunately be caught up in this vicious cycle. So sorry for the doom and gloom story today, guys, but I think this is a reality. If you're lucky enough to have extra money to be investing, what I'm doing is putting my money aside until I see this market start crashing and this kind of domino effect happening, and companies that are A+ companies, their valuation goes down and basically their stock price goes on sale. I'm going to be picking up more stocks, but I'm kind of being patient, waiting for that stock market to crash, because I definitely do see it coming. It's probably going to be extended to at least 6 months to 12 months before we see significant numbers going down. All right, guys, again, sorry for the doom and gloom, but if you like what I'm doing, if you found any value in my videos, please consider subscribing, give a thumbs up, maybe help out the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.